AFTERBUZZ TV Bar Rescue. Desi, you have some explaining to do.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, Bar Rescue fans. Keven Undergaro here for the AFTERBUZZ TV Bar Rescue After Show. I'm here with, God, we used to have meatballs, matzo balls. I'm here with a matzo ball and a meatball.
Yeah,
right?
It's true.
I'm the meatball, right?
Two East Coast delicacies.
Nikki's obviously the meatball, and Gabby is obviously the matzo ball.
You know what? A lot of people don't realize that, though. That I'm a matzo ball.
Because you could easily be a meatball.
Yeah, I could.
And I could easily be a matzo
You
ball.
could easily be a matzo ball. No, it's nice. It's plug and play. Yeah, it's an East Coast panel.
Woo.
Dorinda's off today. It's just us kids. Desi, we're back to New Orleans. John has, seems like he has luck in New Orleans. Like, I knew when the Spirits from Bourbon guys were going to come around, we were good.
Well,
Did you guys, now, Gabby, you've seen the Spirits of Bourbon episode.
I haven't, because it was 4 years ago, like John mentioned.
You were still in junior high.
Yeah, that was
Nikki,
too long ago.
What about you? Did you see it?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'll educate you.
Okay.
So these are very difficult owners drinking messy bar, whatever,
Right.
and it's on Bourbon Street, and you guys know that being two party chicks, right? So it's like that's an amazing location, but it was a fail. It was
Right.
a failing place, and he really went in and mixed it up with them. But these guys, he turned them around, and they completely bought in. And one of the things he created was a barber chair, like a barber chair where you could get shots in, and you know, it's done so well that they've actually franchised. This is the most successful rescue ever in Bar Rescue, and they mentioned it on this episode, you know, and how many $5 million they've made since the rescue. But I know behind the scenes there's been restaurant purchases and things like that they're doing outside of even that brand. I mean, these guys are killing it, and they love John and they love Bar Rescue, and so I just know when we flash the bat signal and we get them, we're gonna be good.
What kind of owners were they when they did their episode? They obviously weren't the wackadoodles.
They weren't a wackadoodle. They were sloppy, drunk, and kind of quit.
Because they seem like they have their stuff together. Judging from this
Oh
episode
my God,
and the few seconds we saw them, they seem very put together, professional.
Now,
Yeah.
but at the time, no, not so much.
I do like him bringing back people who have success from the bars, and it's better. It's almost like better than having the experts, because you're taking somebody that was once a failure, now a success, and it's more inspiring. It's less intimidating to me.
And you'll listen. I think you'll listen more.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm like you. You
Right.
know what I mean? Rather than, I'm an expert, so I'm talking down to you. But a lot of times even in psychology, and I know from coaching, I always try to get to common ground.
Right.
So it's like, whether it's like, hey, we're East Coast. Like, I would probably use that with you guys. Like, come on, guys, we grew up in the East Coast. Like, we know what it's like. Or I had blue collar parents, or whatever it is. But you always want to find that common ground. It's harder for the experts because they come in. Phil Wills and Lisa Marie Joyce and Mia.
It's intimidating.
And the three of them are the holy freaking trinity. They look. They're gorgeous. Like it's just they're perfect. So you're right. You're intimidated. And look at the bartenders. This was a rough crew. Looks wise, they were. I'm just saying, there's a lot of smoking, a lot of drinking, hard living.
That is. I'm sorry, and I think we were talking about this before, because there are still bars out there. I think me and Dorinda were talking about it, that do allow smoking inside.
I can't even believe it.
Like this
I
one.
cannot even believe it's still allowed.
Come on, you do not. I almost feel like that was a production call. Seriously, you're lighting up behind the bar.
Okay, I will tell you that in the smoking culture, I remember barbers, hairdressers always
But that was a long time ago.
had the butt going. I know, but the smokers culture is still like that. You know,
especially there. And I mean, if you don't have respect for the workplace, which they had no respect, then they're just going to do what they want. And I think that was a pure example of them not having structure.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, like I've worked in facilities before where I might have disrespected the venue. Not that I've token up behind the bar, but you know, whether I took a shot behind the bar or just broke a rule that's kind of like in the welcome packet.
You had an open tab.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I
Gabby,
had an open tab in my
will
day.
you move the mic? I see millennials don't believe in talking to the mic. You guys talk to camera. That's why you guys are. I just love you so much. The YouTube generation. Just sit at the foot of your bed and talk to that webcam, and you're good. But in broadcasting, you have to talk into a microphone. Very good.
Hey.
That's it.
Am I okay?
You're okay because you're
right.
hitting the sweet spot is right there.
Awesome.
So you're okay.
Project.
Anyway, I love the both of you. The smoke, but okay, so we got to get into the free tab thing. But to me, the smoking thing is funny. When I went to Bar Rescue, Bar Rescue updates, and they were it was great. It was pretty positive, but the only one of the negatives was like they said the smoke is so overwhelming. And gross, and especially God, you guys with food.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Have you guys been to Bootsy Bellows here in Los Angeles?
It's been years, but yes.
So, I mean, that's more of a nightclub than a bar, but everybody is allowed to smoke in there, and it's supposed to be like
Why
an
is that?
A-list up. Why?
Is it because it's outdoors, or how
It's
would
inside.
I wonder how they would go. Oh, maybe because it's a private club. Like, well, how would they be able to?
Wait, are you sure about this? Because I
'Cause
thought
you
it was
cannot
illegal in
smoke.
California.
It is, and it's, and the
No,
smoke.
everybody lights up in Bootsy's.
Well, it's probably like an illegal thing they're doing.
And they
now.
just do
They
it.
just do it.
Yeah.
But that's why I hate going there, because of the smoke. Like, and it's supposed to be like this A-list, like hottie toddy, like you better look great and get in, and then you get in, and it's like.
Ugh.
Smoking, it's
No.
gross.
No.
Why is this considered A-list, and why am I waiting in line to go
I remember
here?
attending bar for the smoke and coming home and showering, and the feeling of the hot water hit your scalp, and then you smell
it.
the smoke, and how it's disgusting.
Oh, just even because I mean, I'm totally against smoking. I grew up with a mom that smoked like secondhand all day, every day, and so thank God she doesn't anymore. But when I was growing up, I hated it. But when I did study abroad in Europe smoking is huge.
Huge.
Right.
That's why.
And I mean, I did meddle with it a little bit when I was drinking out, and I think I did like a week of smoking cigarettes in clubs, and I would wake up the next day with like the smell under my fingernails and my hair, on
No
my
voice.
skin. No voice, and I already have a raspy voice, so that was
too.
a big issue. Yeah, so you get it. And it was miserable, and that actually made me never want to smoke ever again.
Just ruins the experience.
yeah.
I think go outside and smoke or whatever. I don't know, and it also increases your hangover rate too. By inhaling a ton of smoke. It just so as soon as every time the bar rescues I've seen where I see them smoking inside, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna like this rescue because. It's hard, you literally have to polish a turd. I'm sorry, because how do you?
way to describe it.
Well, because no matter what you do, you're always gonna have that filthy habit there in the place. So that's a problem. And then all of a sudden, what about the lady with a $2,000 bar tab?
Wow, and she did not want to admit that.
The
which
coke.
was
Oh,
the
yeah,
best
that
part.
was definitely a rough patch in the show, and that's I don't know.
Like, I don't know, 1,200.
You can't like.
$2,000.
You get a comp tab. If you go above 50, you're pushing it. Like it's nice if an owner or a bar manager is going to be like, okay, yeah, hook up your friends, make sure you're ringing in. But to go above anything over 50, I'm like, yeah, you're stealing.
Wait, and
At
this
that
is
point, you're stealing.
Louisiana. Like,
Yeah.
this isn't even LA where drinks cost like 15 to 20 a cocktail.
Yeah, no.
Where you probably get
That's
three
a good
drinks,
point.
you know, and 50.
Oh my
Imagine.
God!
Right.
Just imagine what she.
Yeah.
Probably like $2 shots, you know? Think about it. It's crazy.
So, the outside of the place actually, I always like when we go to places and we step away from script, meaning, the place always has to be a dump. But I like how I was like, no, the outside actually was nice. I thought it was great that they didn't, but I could see the amateur producer getting in the earpiece of the talent and saying, okay, just say something negative. And I like that they're like, no, actually, it's pretty clean, pretty nice, because the exterior was nice.
Yeah.
That was one of the things I noticed in the beginning of the show. They actually had POS and signage right in the front on the door where John always likes it. It was very clear. Nothing was broken or not working. The lights worked. So I thought there was no reason to change
And so I like that. I like that we're not always having to get the dump, or at least always having to be so negative. It's like, no, this actually looks pretty nice.
Yeah.
And the female in the kitchen that
Bethany.
John brought in, the one that John brought in.
Oh, Tiffany.
Tiffany did the John's other show. He did it was like I think it was a restaurant investor show on Spike. It was only one season, and she was the expert with him. So he has a great relationship with her. I knew she was gonna be horrified, and of course she was. But what I did like is this owner. He seemed like just a nice guy.
Desi.
He did. I felt
What
like
did you
we
think?
could
Because you
relate
guys
to him.
probably, so Nikki, you probably know more Desis than we would.
Yeah. Well, from the get-go when he was drinking and everything like that, you could it's just like a complete 360 with him, like coming back in and being sober. But yeah, you could see his passion. I felt bad for his daughter though, because
Poor kid.
But she wasn't giving me her all. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't believe,
at the stress test, you mean?
I just didn't believe that she really wanted to save it as much as she might have said. Like, I could have used a little more umph from her.
Well, he wasn't a dad. It didn't seem like, he didn't push his staff. So I bet you as a father, he wasn't really pushing her growing up. So she probably doesn't have that drive.
And I think she was scared to step on his toes a little bit, because clearly he's the one in control.
25 years.
Even in the ending too, it said that it's still hard for her to get control as a manager, and that was, to me, point blank obvious.
Right.
Well, she doesn't want it. You know what I mean? Like deep down.
Right.
But she loved the dad. Like she had good intentions for him. And I mean, and the fact that he had a stroke 3 months before.
Right. And that's a sensitive subject to me right now, being that one of the first guy that ever hired me as a bartender is finally moving from a stroke. Do you remember Rob Bettarosa from the Long Island Strip, where I used to bartend McKeeb's, McFadden's,
Maybe if
Nachos?
I saw a picture.
Well, he's finally...
I know those bars.
He's finally breathing on his own, and he's had a stroke about 3 weeks ago now, and he's moved his feet a little bit, and he's breathing on his own.
Oh,
So,
good.
That's crazy.
and everybody from like Hulk Hogan to John and like Mark Wahlberg have reached out, and Instagram is blowing up, and the prayers have been answered. So
That is so insane.
yeah, but the stroke thing is all on stress. So I mean, you can tell that Desi has had stress for a long time now, being 150 grand in debt, and nobody was mentioning it too. They were like, how much, and everyone's, oh, we don't know. BS, you don't know. Like, it's just one of those things to me. At this venue, they were all beating around the bush, and they couldn't come to terms with what was really actually happening in their bar.
But what if, because my perspective also is, what if he had the stroke from just, his alcoholism and the
Alcohol's
problems
a
with
part of
his
it.
nutrition, and then the bar fell off after the stroke? That's what I was thinking, but maybe it was a prelude to
it
the
could
stress
be,
and
and it could be
I
both.
think when you drink like that, just drink like that on a special occasion, that's usually how you are. So when you're in your 20s and you see someone, I think, who gets drunk one night, it's like, okay, you're in your 20s doing this stuff. When you start getting older, your 30s, 40s, 50s, you see people get like that drunk, it's a problem.
But do you think that the stroke came from the drinking or came from stress?
Both.
Both.
The whole thing, all of it.
When your bars are failing too, it's like,
Well, that's the thing about medicating, is that it just becomes a dark spiral down, and you get stressed, so you medicate. And then you medicate and you feel a little better, but now because you're medicated and you're in a little fog, you're not proactive about fixing problems because you're sedated. Nice. And what happens? More problems come. You come out of the fog and you go, oh my God, it's even worse than it was. I'm even more stressed. Let me take more medication.
Right.
Go deeper into a fog. Okay.
This rescue really focused on that.
Well, you know, we see it every week. It's, so many people, it's like, man, put the plug in the fucking jug and put that time into work. Put that time into problem solving. Put that time into purpose and watch your life get better.
Right.
But, most people don't. And listen, it's hard to speak to addiction because they say it is genetic and it is a disease. So it's hard to judge. But if it's a problem, if it's like a problem drinker versus an alcoholic, let's just say, if you put it into purpose, you put it into work, you'll see that's when you start coming out of it. But it's like anything. The more you sedate or medicate or run away from your problems in any way, worse it's gonna get.
See, the funny thing is, I can't relate to anyone that I've known in my family have alcoholism. I know it's been in my family, but I relate to the human factor of Lindsay's relationship with her father because she was distraught over the fact that he was just throwing this away.
You could see she was brokenhearted.
Yeah, and she was broken.
And scared and nervous because if he just had a stroke, guy's gonna die.
He just had a stroke. Her father is threatening his life by continuing these bad habits. And for me, like, I relate to that wholeheartedly because in a different way. My father was sick, but he was in denial. And this man is in denial of his issues and what's actually going on in reality.
He responded the next day, though, when he saw it sober, which made me think, because we've had guys, there was the one guy from the bar, where the horse took a dump in the bar, which was a crazy episode, but that family was really troubled, and the husband did say, okay, promise I won't drink at the bar, and he didn't, and you guys, his hands were shaking, he was sweating. This was someone who's deep in addiction and needed detox. He needed detox, he needed to not be around that environment. Whereas I think Desi, it wasn't that severe, so he was able to come in the next day and go, wow, oh geez, that,
because he's functioning.
Functioning. Yeah, there is a difference between
again, we don't know if he's a problem drinker or an alcoholic. But I will say this, and I'd get a lot of shit for it, but as far as functioning alcoholics go, I actually think it's pretty rare. Yes, there's ones who can go through the motions, but I mean functioning where they're working at top level, and then drinking, very rare. So anyway, and like but once again, like we see a staff that actually seemed like they had pretty good intentions. Like it didn't have any bad people, because he overall seemed like a nice guy.
Yeah,
he didn't seem like a bad guy.
There wasn't anything bad to say about him. It's like the sickness was obviously the thing that stuck out about him, but there was, I don't know. I think it's hard to tell, because when you watch these episodes, you can see, like last week, like Big Mike, the passion, the community, like everybody's.
That was beautiful.
With this, like it was just kind of like you had this small staff that cared about you, but I didn't see reflection in the community. I didn't see.
Well, again, you guys are newbies, so and especially you, Nikki, we don't get the community thing. That was rare.
Yeah.
We had it there. We had it with the Sandy Hook episode. I'd like to see more of it, because it's just a different path for these guys to go on. But no, normally it's you're an asshole, you have to get broken, and I think 70 or 80% of them go back to being assholes, and that's just how it is. And what we hope now, those assholes get split into dicks and douchebags and wackadoodles.
Mind you, this staff was his family, so this is blood you're dealing with, and community. I mean, he's been in the business for 25 years plus. So you better have a community at that point.
Yeah, I like to see a little bit more interaction with customers and just a little more hype about the opening of the bar. Yeah, because you see that in past episodes. With this one, I just kind of felt like it was kind of quick. And
I think they just didn't have enough time to put everything in there.
Right. Production thing.
Well, and also, it's always a challenge when the bar's not that bad physically.
Right.
Notice there was some water effect, or did you ever notice in the background? I always watch the bars, what they have for lighting and stuff like that in the back, and there was something bubbling behind the bottles. It was a pretty cool thing, and John kept it. So because to me, the renovation, they changed the color of the paint on the outside, the trim. That was nice. And then inside, they got cleaned up and all that, but it wasn't, even the bar top. Right. Well, I don't think it was that bad to begin with.
Yeah. It wasn't, but I actually really liked it. I liked how he just did minor enhancements.
I think he was like, you're in 25 years. Let's own that.
Right.
Like let's own the fact that you're,
and the rustic theme kind of goes with the New Orleans vibe.
Yes. Yeah. If you go down to New Orleans, it's that French, all those shutters with those different colors.
That was cool.
Yeah. So I mean, but I know you're now, Nikki, you're spoiled, because I think like literally last week was one of the best they've ever done.
Yeah.
So now when you see that, you're gonna go, we'll reward you with some wackadoodles.
We need them.
We
keep requesting, and it doesn't happen.
It's so funny. John started out hating them.
Yeah.
John Taffer started. Like, to the point that when you'd bring up pirates, he'd still get angry. All the way up to like 2 years ago, he would get like mad, and now I think he's come to realize that they make
the show.
Yes, they make such great show. but they piss him off
Well,
so
we
much.
thought maybe he would start out as one chasing him out the
Yeah,
bar.
they teased it.
Tomorrow, let's start tomorrow.
Yeah, that was hysterical.
It was pretty.
It's funny.
I laughed out loud.
Shout out to the co-EP, Katie Jerks. I could hear her today on asking him questions. You know, I always know it's her voice. And John had a lot of patience with him, which was hard. And John knows better. You can't talk to a drunk. That's the other thing too. You can't. But you know, he's there, and I guess probably using that time to educate us as viewers more than get through to a guy, because you guys, or you should know, you can't reason with a drunk, right?
No, at that point, I'm like,
We all have.
security.
Yeah, no, Nicole, you don't reason with the drunks?
I'll try. Like I'll take like 1 or 2 minutes tops, and then I'm like, all right, security,
You're
step
out.
in, and I'll even have onlookers, and they'll be like, you have so much patience. I'm like, girl, I've been doing this for so long. Like I have to.
Dealing with them.
Yeah, you have to. Started the new gig this weekend.
Oh yeah, how'd it go? So you started in
good.
LA.
Yeah,
Which
one?
working tonight too. It's
Historic-
called Clifton's.
Oh, I love Clifton's
Yeah.
downtown. Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
It was great. It was great. And
Tiki bar? Is that where you are?
They need a girl in Tiki. It's only men pretty much at every other bar but the one I work at. And I work at the main bar, and it's the Monarch
So
bar.
I'm sorry, but it'll be interesting to see how it all turns out. I just don't see I don't get that.
What?
I don't get male. We talked about
all
before.
ma-
I don't
all
get the
male,
all
like, no
male
female.
bartender.
No, it
I don't
doesn't-
get that philosophy. I'd love to get John's opinion on it.
I would too, because I don't know if it's...
Most of the bar rescues we see women barterners. Most of them. It's like rarely do you
well,
see.
there should be one to break up the mix. I think it's all about presentation. And if you're gonna, if a man's gonna come up to a bar and see all men, how long are they gonna hang out at that bar? How long is their tab gonna be open at that bar? You know what I mean? It's about presentation, selling, communication, and a man isn't going to stand at a bar and talk to his bro like you said all day. He wants to talk to a woman.
Exactly.
Especially if he had a rough day and something's not going right at home. Like, a man isn't going to open up to a man more so it's like he's going to sit and willow wallow with a woman.
I don't get it. I want to ask John. I know for Bar Rescue we see mostly female bartenders.
This whole staff on this show
Yeah,
is
and most
all
of them you
females.
see are. It is good to have the one guy there. You have for diversity, and not to be chauvinistic, but it's good to have a guy to carry. Sometimes if you don't have a bar back to roll in the keg and roll in the cases. I know you carry kegs.
I could carry. I thought you were going to say carry the weight. I was going to say I could carry the weight. I mean the weight of the customers, the weight of
No, that
the
part.
hustle.
No, my God, I think girls are better because they're faster and like they're
We're a little
and
bit
they
more
wanna,
efficient.
We
and
can
efficient.
multitask.
Yeah.
That's right, and they want to please, and they want to all day long. The guy and again, don't even get me going. The guy, I can't even. The guy bartenders in LA are the worst. The worst. The fucking
The ones
worst.
at Clifton's aren't that bad, I promise. They're actually pretty
I
good.
actually love
Yeah.
Clifton's.
They're very good. They're
They're gonna be good to. How are they to guys? Because the problem is, like with girls, when I send Roxy or the people I co-host with at the Tomorrow Show, then that's the only way I'll get drinks is if a girl goes up and orders. But if a guy goes up, no, you don't get anything. You still wait there for hours. I'm like, hey, dummy, guess who's writing the check for your tip, which will be actually really high. Just do, Bill Belichick, do your job.
It's true.
Yeah. It's a big compliment when you have a customer waiting for you. They're like, oh, I want her, and they're like, and I love when I hear people go, oh, she's fast, she's good, she's quick. Go wait for her. That's a big compliment as a bartender. When
I have
you've
to
got
say,
2 to 3 other people bartending next to you, but you got half the crowd waiting for you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
listen, all the guineas I knew back home, my God, could they sling? Hard-working Italian chick, my God. No, really fast, efficient. You love it.
We smell.
Get in there. You don't smell.
When
Not
we
the
start
ones I
breaking a
knew.
sweat, it's like salt. Lots of salt coming out of it.
Making stuff happen. Is there anything left to say about him? Although, and he talked in his New Orleans talk. Did you guys see the? It was kind of the
accents.
Yeah, the accents are fun.
Hysterical.
Yeah, they're fun.
I'm glad that John intervened and got into this bar. I think it was much needed. He was very disrespectful when he was drunk, obviously. It's controlling his emotions. I don't know if you guys picked up on the beginning when he first came in and was sitting down with the family. And then he also
you're an asshole.
Yeah, first he was telling his daughter to shut up.
Yeah.
He also introduced his wife in a crazy way.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? He was like screaming.
Yeah.
Like,
He's drunk.
Yeah.
but I
He got
mean,
overserved, as we like to say.
overserved. I thought it was the right time for John to come in, and I love this episode. I think this guy was a great person to rescue.
There you go. See that, Nikki? But Nikki comes off last week, the tearjerker one, so she's thinking everyone's going to be like that. But I'm glad you
no.
liked it. No,
I think
you're right, because, listen, it was successful. And we went to Bar Rescue updates, and it seemed like it ended up being a success.
I would like them to do a video update at some point where we actually see it, a little longer one, not like just a 20-second,
Right.
5-second clip of, is this guy still an alcoholic? What's going on? And I mean, the only way we'd find that out is if it's on a back to the bar, maybe. But,
Right, which is next week. And
but it's not going to be with these guys.
no.
it'll be
This is taped.
fast.
Yeah, so I don't know. I know, back to the wackadoodle thing, though. I know that they, I always, break John's balls. Please get us more wackadoodles. Please get us more. He's like,
Can you talk to someone else there? Maybe we can get some stuff
Katie.
done.
We
Where's
have to talk to
casting?
Katie Dirks over the
get it done.
Chloe P of the show. Well, it's hard because, it's tough. I don't know. I mean, I don't run the show, and I don't think John runs that part either.
Mm-hmm.
But I think because I'm a producer, I would be, and if I were him, I would be saying to them, listen, it's all good. No matter where we show up, we're going to make a great show.
Right.
But you got to, come on, casting.
Step it up.
Yeah, we need another Pirates. We need another Wonder Bar.
At least one or two a season.
And the cockroach guy, who looks like a cockroach, was not only a wackadoodle, but he was also a dick. He's all the boxes got checked with him. He was an awful human being. So it was great. But we haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, no. It's been, I think since I've been hosting, we haven't really had.
Well, the Wonder Bar was a wackadoodle.
But that, come on, one in how many months?
Yeah, it's
That's
been a long
lot,
time. Been a long time.
You know?
But I don't mind the non-wackadoodles either. I do like
Oh,
a good heart
Well, Nikki,
story.
that's wonderful. I've had a lot. My favorite
dismissed the
episode, I'll say again,
crazies.
my favorite episode was last week. That was my favorite episode. So I'm with you.
Yeah.
But we need the balance.
Yeah,
It's true.
absolutely.
We need the balance. Kids, where do we find you?
You can find me at Nicole Brajer all over social media, and I might be bartending at Coachella in a couple of weeks.
Nice. good for
Really?
you.
Wait, what is it? Private event
It's
or
actually
what?
next week.
It's called BBC, Best Beverage Company. They staff all the festivals in the desert, and they do Stagecoach as
Wait,
well. And
speaking of.
my friends work for them, and I cried when they told me they were going to put me at the top of the
If you
list.
want another gig, my friend is staffing for Neon Carnival, and
Right. Yeah.
Is it
I don't
the
know
beer?
if they're the same. Best Beverage.
it's for beer.
It's just beer?
I'll ask, but
Listen,
she needs
Nikki's
people.
a mixologist, but would you do the beer? Would you crack open beers if you had to?
Absolutely.
She cracks open beers too.
Beers,
Used to work at
wine.
Rock and Riley.
Yeah, beer all day and Irish nachos. I'm not the biggest fan of food and beverages, but if it's in the POS, I'll do it.
You do it. You get it
I'll
done.
push it. No, I push it.
You get it done.
Yeah.
Gabriella.
You guys can find me on Instagram at Gabby.Loren and everywhere else Gabrielle Loren 8 Snapchat. Just look up Gabrielle Loren. There's only one.
There's only one. There's only one I know. At Undergaro. And check out thetomorrowshow.com. Mondays and Thursday nights live or on demand. YouTube, iTunes, etc., etc. Next week we'll be back to the bar. Of course, I'll be watching, but we won't be doing an after show for it. And then we will be back, and fingers crossed, it will be an absolute nut job.
Yay!
And
Amen.
maybe we'll make a let's make a cocktail. Let's make
You
an
keep
AFTERBUZZ
saying
TV
you're gonna.
cocktail.
I love it. On a Monday morning, you know how much I would love to have
I brought alcohol
suck
in
one down.
before.
As long
when we
as
had
we're
Neon.
down before noon.
What's that?
We're down before noon.
I'm down before noon.
All right,
Yeah,
let's do it.
yeah. You listen.
It's gonna be a yellow cocktail.
If you put
Kegs and eggs.
I have to teach you lessons with me. If I get 2 or it's like a 3-drink minimum. I get 3 and we're out of here.
Cool.
We're going down to the beach with the credit card, or we're going to Vegas.
done.
And bosses
have to be off
all,
that day.
all bosses are being called. No, we handle
Done.
everything.
Okay.
We
Done
handle
and
it
done.
all internally.
I'll just bring in the booze.
All right, you guys. We'll be back. As we say in Boston, we'll be back shortly.
Shot it. Adios.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.